guys, Jen here. So I am going to do this really quick video on how to make these Valentine's Day bookmarks. So I've been seeing these all over like the Cricut websites and stuff, and so I actually haven't had a chance to make a video with my new camera, so I thought this would be a good practice. So I'm on the Cricut Design Space for desktop right now, so I'm actually videoing my computer, so hopefully that will come out okay. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go over here to the shapes button, and we're going to select a square. Dun, dun, dun. And then we're going to go up to the top. Oh, can't see that part. Up to the top where it tells us the size here, and we're going to make it 2 by 6. So I'm just going to put in the 6. And I'm going to unlock it right here. Use this button here that unlocks it so that we can make it each side different. So 6 by 2. Okay, so that gives me my square for my bookmark. And then I'm going to go over here to shapes over here, and I'm going to select the heart. And then I'm going to go back up to where it says size, and I want it to be the same width as my bookmark, so I'm going to make it the 2, and then I'm going to rotate it, which is this little button right here. I'm going to rotate it, and then I like to use the grid that's on the screen to make sure that it is straight. So I line up the end of the heart and the concaveness of the heart to the same line to make sure that it's nice and straight. And then I'm just going to put it on my bookmark about where I want it. I just kind of eyeball it. But you want to see how this has a blue box. So I want to make sure that blue box is lined up with my gray square, and that it guarantees that it's it's up evenly, okay? So then, once I have that where I want it, I'm going to click off the screen so I don't have any boxes, and then I'm going to use my mouse and drag a box, and that will highlight all of that. And then over here, so I have some of them done. Over here in the bottom, I have this weld button. I'm going to weld it together. I'm going to put this back over here so you can see what happens when I hit weld. So now I have one piece, okay? So now to get that cut out in the middle, I'm going to go back over to the shapes button, and I'm going to get another square. And then what I like to do is go up to the top. So I'm going to go up to the top again, and go up to the color, this little color square, and I'm just going to select a different color. That way I can just see the difference. And then I'm just going to kind of eyeball this. I'm going to unlock it here, and that lets me move my square around. And I'm just going to kind of I'm just going to eyeball this. You could measure it out if you wanted to, but I'm just going to eyeball it. And then what I'm going to do is select all of those this time, and then go back over here to the side, and I'm going to hit my slice button, and that slice is going to cut that center out. Okay, so it doesn't look any different, but if I go like this, there's that piece, and I don't need it anymore, so I'm just going to erase it. Here's that piece. How cool is that? And I'm just going to erase that too. Now, what I do is I keep one spare up here, so you'll see that's my spare one up there. And that's the one I'm just going to copy and paste it so that they're all the same size. So then the next thing I would do is I'm going to leave this one down here. That's the one we just did, but I want to make sure that mine all look exactly the same. So I did the same process. It looks the very same. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click, go down to copy, and paste. So that's what I'm going to use. This one's my spare, so I always have them at the same size, okay? So I'm going to work with this one just because the one I just made, you can see the heart's a little bit bigger, and I've already made a bunch of them, so I want them to all look the same. So I'm just going to get rid of this one. Okay, so now you know the process of how I made this. Next comes the text. So I'm going to get a text here. Here's my text box. I just clicked on the text button on the side, and I'm using the Cricut Sans font just because it's easy and that's what this machine is automatically set to. So I'm going to just pick one of my kids' names, and I'm going to take it up here, and I'm going to make it so that the top of the font hits the frame, and then I'm going to unlock it and stretch it so the bottom hits the frame as well. And then I'm going to highlight it all. And I'm going to go back over here to the side. Back over here. I'm going to hit weld. Okay? We want to weld it. We don't want to attach it. We want to weld it. So I'm going to hit weld. And there it is. So I have one little bookmark there. And so that's the process I'm going to use for all of my bookmarks. And then one thing I wanted to show you, let's make another one real quick so I can show you one that might need some help. I'll do this one again because I know this. I had to work on this one. So this is Jordan, and what I had to do with hers, because I didn't like the way the Y was so separated from the other letters, so I kept it highlighted, and I'm going to go over to the top to this ungroup up here at the top. So I'm going to ungroup it, and that gives me all of my letters individual. So now I can squeeze this a little bit closer together just so it looks a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. Okay, now all the letters are separate, so I need to put them back together. So I'm going to highlight them. Now one thing I like to do is once I've moved letters around is go up here to the top to the align button. And then since I didn't mess with the size, they should obviously be the same size. And I'm just going to align them on the bottom just to make sure they're straight. Okay? And it looks like they were pretty good anyway. And then I'm going to go back over. I know it's a lot of steps, but it is really easy. Go back over here to, and you can see here, you can tell that they're all separate because all the letters are on my my layers tab or whatever. And so I'm going to go up here to the top. And I'm going to hit group. No. Yeah, we can group them first. And then I want to go down to weld. Yeah, that worked. Okay. So see how all the letters went off and now it's her name is just one spot there. So that's how you move those letters and then make sure you put them back together so that they will cut all together. So that is all you have to do, guys. And then you just put it in your machine and cut it like you normally would. I'm just going to use cardstock, and then I'm going to laminate them and cut them out. So I'm not going to laminate and then cut, which you can do, just because I want this open space here to be covered in plastic so that these are very durable for my kids. So it's going to be the whole piece that's going to be covered in plastic, but then the name will be cut out. Yeah, so one other thing I thought that you could do that I thought might be kind of cool, that would take a little bit more work, I'm trying to do a really fast one, is to, so this is like a separate little project, is when you cut out your square for the weld part, so you have this square that you cut out, right? So let's say we just slice this out and there's my square. One thing I thought would be kind of neat to do would be to make a background a different color. So let's say, okay, so this is the square you cut out, then I would take it and stretch it out a little bit so it's just a little bit bigger, just a smidge bigger, and then make it a different color. Okay, and so then you would just put it on there, and then you would attach these. Don't weld it because it'll turn it back the same color. But if you attach it, oh, not attach, I'm sorry, don't do that, undo. There's an undo button, guys, love that button. Okay, so we're gonna not attach it, we want to group it, which is over here in the same corner, over here. So I originally attached it, that's not what you want to do. You want to group it, okay, doop. Okay, and so that makes it so where you can still move it all around, it's all one piece, and then you can still take the name. This is a really good thing to see. Okay, so her name is behind it, and so I want to be able to see it. So I go up here to the top to arrange. I can hit move to the front, and that brings it back to the front so I can see it. Okay, so then I could do this. Did I get it on there? Yep. And then I can, ooh, don't do that. I can weld it together. Actually, I don't want to weld it yet. Let me ungroup this. Okay, let's ungroup it first because it'll weld this piece in it. So let's weld this. Okay, so the same process. So if I take this, weld, okay, then I can put this behind it, and then we can group it together. Okay, so now I have this cool colored one. So if you didn't want just white in the background, then you could put a colored one. And so what your Cricut will do then is it will cut as many of these colored squares on the back so you can laminate them. So, which actually looks really cool. So I might do a couple of those like that. So I hope this was informational for you and that you enjoyed watching it. I know it was kind of haphazard. I was just sitting here doing this and I thought, you know what, somebody might want to know how to do this. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed it and happy crafting.